Hey Cavalier fans, Matt Trogdon here, streaking the lawn. I'm here with the coach, Seth Greenberg. How you doing, Coach?
Life is good. I'm still a little disappointed Phony Tony's not here.
Oh yeah, well he'll be happy to hear that you said that. We are here in the Be Good at Life studio for New York Life. We're partnering with them in the ACC tournament this week to bring you some exclusive coverage. Coach, we got a few questions for you. So you are a New York native. You grew up right down the street in Plainview. How do you feel about seeing the ACC tournament here? There's been some mixed opinions about that so far.
I'm along with Boeheim, I got to be honest with you. And look, when you think about the ACC, the geographic footprint of the ACC has changed. College basketball has changed. The business of college basketball has changed. If you think about, when the ACC started, that was prior to realignment. You know what? Greensboro was a great destination, right? Because it fit the geographic footprint of the league. But now, with the realignment, with the expansion, these are events, and the biggest events are played in the biggest cities. And you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, to be honest with you. Greensboro's a great, they've got a great facility, and they've done a tremendous job with the ACC tournament. In a lot of ways, the ACC tournament now has outgrown Greensboro. You want to, it's got to be a destination. And the market reflects basically your league. And when the Big Ten's going to the DC, you got the Big East in Madison Square Garden. It's important to play the ACC tournament in major league markets because you want to get as much as possible you can get out of the event. I mean, look, Greensboro, they got the Grasshoppers and they got a D League, but I think the ACC tournament is kind of outgrown Greensboro. As good as the facility is and as good a job as they've done with the facility.
All right, fair enough. So you have been around this league for a long time, right? Started at UVA as an assistant under Coach Hall in '83 and '84. 9-year tenure at Virginia Tech. We don't like to talk about that in Charlottesville, but it's okay. How do you compare the league this year to some of the years in its past where it's been at its best?
It's different to compare the leagues now. So it's the best league in the history of the ACC. First of all, way back in the day, every team had 3 pros. I mean, there were 7 out of 8 teams that could basically advance in the NCAA tournament if the rules were that way. The league isn't the ACC because you've taken some of the best of the Big East, merged it with the ACC to have this, obviously, super conference. Now, is it competitive? Is the bottom of the league caught the middle of the league? No doubt about it. But when you look and break down the individual teams, when the ACC was at its very best, every team had pros. Every team had top 50 players in the history of the game. So is the league terrific? Yeah, it's terrific because the games aren't games, they're events. And when you bring them all together and you think about the bracket right now, this half of the bracket, all right, the upper half of the bracket is a Final Four. And so to see the teams that are playing on Tuesday and Wednesday, those teams would probably not have been playing until Friday and Saturday, in years past. So the league's great. Don't want to take anything away from where the league is today, but some people have short memories on really how the tradition and the history of this league, because the tradition and history of the league is incredible. What the league is, it's got great depth. It's brought in, obviously, a new geographic footprint and tradition-rich programs like Louisville and Syracuse and Notre Dame, which obviously has enhanced the depth of the league.
Very good. Let's talk real quick about Virginia, if you don't mind. You are a big Tony Bennett fan. As a former coach, what do you see when you watch Virginia play defense, and why is that defense so hard for people to figure out?
Tony Bennett's got a PhD in defense. I mean, anything you do in life, you want someone who's an expert.
Sure.
There's no greater expert in anything in terms on the defensive side of basketball than Tony Bennett. To me, I'm a Tony Bennett fan because he believes and trusts in his system. He's consistent in his message. He's consistent in his approach. He gets recruits to his system. He's not concerned about a flash in the pan. He's concerned about his core beliefs and what makes, in a big picture, Virginia successful. And again, I always say that anything you do, if you've got to be true to your core beliefs, and you've got to be consistent in your approach and how you do things. And if you're trust your core beliefs and consistent in your approach, then long term, you're going to get returns. And that's in business, that's in your personal finances, that's in basketball. You've just got to be consistent in everything you do. And to me, Tony, it's kind of funny because when I was coaching against him, we had a really good relationship. And we were competitive. I think it was a mutual respect. And the one story I like to tell about Tony is I went to Hampton to go recruit one day, and my oldest daughter drove with me because she was worried about me driving 4 hours up, 4 hours back. And Tony just happened to be at the game, and he struck up a conversation with her. And to this day, he still remembers it, always asks about her. And to me, that's, again, people, relationships, and trust is everything. And I think that's why I have so much respect for him.
Very good. So Virginia has had a great few years. Came real close to Final Four last year, having another good year this year. Are we at the point where fans can start realistically dreaming about a national title, or are we still premature?
I mean, look, if you're playing in this league and you're one of the elite programs in the ACC and you're competing on a daily basis against Carolina and Duke, the best of the best, you're sweeping Louisville and you're beating Carolina at the end of the season. If you're competing at that level, sure, you know that's your goal, that's your aspiration. I don't think it's just your goal to make the NCAA tournament, although it's hard.
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, Virginia could have a bad year.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you can't overreact to a bad year and say, well, it's the system. They play too slow. There's too small margin of error. No, because again, it goes back to your approach and day to day doing the same things the right way to get the return that you want. So, I think that Virginia is developed an elite program. Look, they've got a great tradition. I mean, I worked for Coach Holland. We went to the Final Four in '84. He went there obviously prior. They've done a great job with the facilities. They've got tremendous ownership and passion for the program. They've created an incredible culture, and they're one of those programs that, again, if things work out, they have a chance to compete for national championship.
That's good to hear. So you've seen one more. You've seen.
You gave me the hand. It was like a pump fake. I left my feet. I got to be more disciplined.
You've seen, I think, all but 2 teams so far this week. You guys still haven't seen Florida State, still haven't seen Notre Dame. You'll see them tonight. Any prediction for a winner?
For a winner Sunday?
Yep.
I think Carolina is my gut feeling. If Carolina defends the way they defended today, if Isaiah continues to play the way he's playing, and I like that Justin bounced back in the second half. I mean, he didn't exert himself in the first half. He was much more aggressive. And you got to put the ball in a good point guard's hands. You guys have Lenny Parentes. They have Joe Barry. I mean, it's always a good place to start.
Perfect. Now we'll go in for the real thing.
There you go.
Thanks,
Pump
Coach.
fake. I left my feet. It was terrible.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Streaking the Lawn for more content this weekend. And remember to be good at life and look for experts like Coach Greenberg.
There we go.
Awesome.